The office. I'm your host, BKP. We're North Georgia's number one and only. Oh, hold on a second. Don't everybody get all worked up. I'm trying to get to something here. Good morning from the office. I am BKP. This Monday morning, 8 a.m. in the lovely, great North Georgia. It is Republican Convention week. We've got a lot to talk about. Folks, we'll get right to it. We have 6 officers shot. Three of the officers are dead this morning. I don't know about you, but I've seen, several of the municipalities get together, city police officers and sheriff deputies. They'll get together and stop somewhere and have breakfast. And I don't know. You tell me, how do we stop this hate? How do we stop this hate in this country? How do we stop the violence? The guy that shot him is of Islamic faith, a black gentleman. Black guy, Islamic faith. So what say you? How do we stop the violence? Now, when we were kids, we had we watched the old westerns, and there was always a new sheriff in town. Donald Trump is a new sheriff in town. He's a new sheriff in town in Cleveland in the RNC. He's a new sheriff, and he wants to be the new sheriff in town for America. He wants to be the law and order candidate. Do you agree with Donald Trump wanting to be, what do you think about Donald Trump wanting to be the law and order candidate? Is that what we need in this country? Carla's Corner at 8:30, and then at 8:50, Linda Clary Umberger. Linda Clary Umberger is going to be our guest from the convention this morning. It gets kicked off today. There's a lot of things. The delegates are going in this morning, getting their schedules, getting a lot of their assignments, things like that. So it kicks off today, the convention there in Cleveland. And we're going to start every day getting some updates. My sister is a delegate, Lee Snover from Pennsylvania. She's a delegate there at the convention, and she's on a committee today with Haley Barber and Paul Ryan. One of the committees meeting today. She's on one of those committees. So I asked her if she could call in, and she said she could tomorrow, but today there's a reporter from New York City following her all day long and doing a story, a day in the life of a delegate. Now, I want to talk to her because she really took to task Pat Toomey and Charlie Dent. Now, Charlie Dent is their congressman up there in the Lehigh Valley of Pennsylvania, and Pat Toomey is the senator running for re-election. And in the morning call, a local paper there in the Lehigh Valley probably prints 500,000 papers, more than 500,000 papers a week or whatever. She was interviewed, and she really took Toomey and Charlie Dent to task. I want to hear how she feels about that and some of the people that are not showing up at the convention. But that'll be all week long. Will you be watching the convention? Let us know here, 706-889-9700, 706-889-9700. Now, Carla's Corner is going to be in here. Carla will be in here at 8:30. And at 9 o'clock, George will be in here. I'm going to say some things this morning that I know the Democrats are going to play on. And it's not to upset you, but it's the truth. One, I'm okay with Donald Trump picking Mike Pence for his running mate. I'm okay. Are you okay with that? 706-889-9700. Are you okay with Donald Trump picking Mike Pence as his running mate? Second, I'm okay. Just so you know, I'm okay. If Donald Trump was to go down here and, pick the butcher, I've said it several times, I don't care. It cannot be Hillary Clinton. That may be the theme this week for a lot of the delegates, or the thought process for the delegates or voters. It cannot be Hillary Clinton. So I'm okay with Pence. But here's some things we have to look at. It's a very white ticket. I know. It's a very white ticket. Can't get any whiter. Cannot get any whiter than Donald Trump and Mike Pence. And actually, the three finalists, which I understand why he didn't pick Newt, and I understand why he didn't pick Chris Christie. And George and I had a lot of fun on the show, and we'll talk about it when he gets here, of guessing what he would do. And I understand why he didn't pick those two, because he'd be explaining every hour why Christie or Gingrich said what they said. But he'll still have to do that because they're going to be a part of the campaign. You watch and see. But Pence is the ultimate supporter of Donald Trump, and he will do a great job at that. So I'm excited about that. He will do the job very well. But all three guys, very white. This is a very white ticket. I don't know if you'll hear that anywhere else, but the Democrats have jumped all over this, and you watch and see. So what's that do? I mean, I thought that Trump might have a Latino, might have a woman on a ticket. I just guessing. Maybe Alan West, but no, very, very white ticket. I know. There you go. Stick with that and pay attention to it. Pay attention to it. You heard it here first. Okay. I think Hillary will go with the minority. Now, I lost all my money last week. We had to clear the slate because I lost all my money to the house, Lonnie. It's over. I didn't hit anything, okay? Now, Hillary may go with the minority. I'm figuring I still got my money on Cory Booker, junior senator from New Jersey, just to have some fun here. Let me say this, all right? Republicans this week will show the bad side of everything going on in this country. Law and order, illegal aliens. The Democrats will show how great, watch and see, undocumented immigrants are. They're going to trot people out. The DREAM Act, they're going to trot kids out left and right that are undocumented and talk about how great it is and what the devastation would be to send them all back. You watch and see what happens. Now, Cleveland, the busloads of protesters are probably being sent in now, the paid protesters. Okay, that's happening now. Trump is a new law and order candidate. This will not happen. I did not hear this weekend. I have not heard this for about a week. Trump is polling 39, Hillary 41. Trump is polling 42, Hillary 39. Okay? All of the pundits are out there talking about on every show how Trump can't break the, you remember just like the primary, he can't break over that 40 mark. Hillary can't break over that 40 mark. Well, guess what? Here's another thing I want you to hear first here. After the Democrat convention, they won't do it before the convention, but after the Democrat convention, the Clintons will go into strategy mode. And the strategy mode will be to get Gary Johnson on the stage. When Gary Johnson first came out and announced as the Libertarian candidate, there was a whole lot made of it because it could still parallel with the Stop Trump. Okay? So the media enjoyed Gary Johnson for a couple weeks because it could be the Stop Trump and third party, and could Mitt Romney get behind this? Whatever. Here's the third candidate that they're looking for, the holdouts. So when that happened, then it got very quiet. Wait till after the Democrat convention, folks. There will be a push to get Gary Johnson his 10% in the polls or whatever he has to have to get on the stage. Hillary Clinton has no choice but to dilute the vote. Hillary needs a George Bush, Ross Perot, Bill Clinton election. That's what Hillary needs. Just a guess. Watch after the convention how fast in Philadelphia they try to get Gary Johnson on the stage. Trust me. Okay, Mike Pence, are you okay with the pick? I'm okay with the pick. But this you should pay attention to this in Georgia, folks. Republican Indiana governor accepts Obamacare Medicaid expansion with caveats. He had some caveats in there. An estimated 358,000 uninsured Indiana residents who will be covered via Affordable Care Act Medicare expansion funds under the program agreed to by the Obama administration and the state's Republican governor Mike Pence. Indiana, this comes, folks, just so you know, this comes from Ben Mathis Lilly, and it comes January 27, 2015. Mike Pence of Indiana becomes the 28th state to accept the expansion and the 5th Republican-run state, joining Arkansas, Iowa, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, to have negotiated an expansion plan designated by conservatives to emphasize personal responsibility and choice. Now, there's some caveats in the plan, but the end all is, when you're out there saying you're going to totally end Obamacare, there's no caveats in totally ending Obamacare. Now, I like Pence, but for you conservatives out there, I know Trump's going to run the show, but you know, let's just get some of the facts. Now, Pence, as though looking for my Pence began his career 12 years in Congress, and he rose to the leadership. These are some things that took place. He rose to the leadership, okay? Pence is a very strong evangelical Christian. Very strong evangelical Christian, okay? When the Republicans lost the House of Representatives, and John Boehner, okay, and John Boehner was the minority leader for the Republicans, Pence opposed him. He got 30 votes, but he did oppose Boehner. He opposed him. That's a plus in my book. Pence is a governor. And Pence is going to support Trump without competing for media attention. He's going to support him. He's going to be a great support. So what say you? Do you approve of Mike Pence as Donald Trump's running mate? And my phone number is 706-889-9700. You can text us at that number, or you can call us or you can email us, chief@fetchernews.com. Sorry, folks, my internet over here is running a little slow. Show seems to be running well over here, and I'm just trying to click around. A good friend of mine made this quote on their Facebook page this weekend. I'm going to share with you, and it's not, okay, it's not something that she's not a Trump supporter, but she is now. And she's decided she's going to support Trump, and she wrote this on the internet. We must love and honor our country more than we dislike a personality. And I agree with that. We must love and honor a country more than we dislike a personality. Pence tried to cut off all funding to Planned Parenthood. He tried to cut off all funding to Planned Parenthood. Pence supported NAFTA and the TPP, okay? Now, the media says they've already started trying to separate the candidates. How could these candidates be in line? How can these candidates convince the American people, and we know people don't really vote for the vice president, but how can these candidates convince the American people they have something in common, so on and so forth? The media's already started that. They will not do that with the Democrats. Now, I want to do 10 minutes on a quick story before I go to break. Today at 3 o'clock, the publisher of the Fan and Focus, Mark Tomlinson, and his attorney, Russell Stuckey, will be in court. There'll be a motion before Senior Superior Court Judge Richard Weingarten to dismiss the charges against them. But you know, I read all the time about campaign finance, and I want to take the listeners and the viewers a little bit to task here this morning. I go on your Facebook pages and I see your post, and you want this congressman reviewed, and you want this state senator, and you want this state representative, and on and on and on. You go after campaign finance. I have often told all of the activists out there and all the people, get involved locally first. Okay? Tear into your local candidate groups first. And I'm telling you, if you do that and you make enough noise, the state and national candidates will see that, okay? And you got to be able, you can do it on a local level and really accomplish something. Now, that being said, campaign finance reports on the local level are not required to be done electronically anymore. That's right. They're not required to be done electronically. And the problem with that is you can't go on the internet and just pull up somebody's campaign finance report. The Georgia Government Transparency and Campaign Finance Commission, your local county elections, they handwrite them and they mail them in. So a lot of people are not checking them. So I have said, and for some that get very upset, I have said, look, I call it the Fannin cartel, all right? And I call it the Fannin cartel. And I've told you before, the definition of a cartel is just this, all right? A coalition or cooperative arrangement between political parties intended to promote a mutual interest. Did this happen in the Fannin County Sheriff's race? Now, we have all of the information. We did not write this article with no information. I feel very strongly that there were some people in cahoots in the Fannin County Sheriff's race. They were out to unseat Sheriff Dane Kirby. It's fine you run, folks. Let's get it clear. If you want to run for office, run for office. And it's fine you do that. But this was a planned effort in everything. Everything points to this possibly being a planned effort between a group of people to unseat the sheriff. Okay. So what we did for our research, and I'm going to tell you the two articles, what we did is we have a copy of every single newspaper, every issue that was published from the time of qualifying to the day of the election by the Fan and Focus. We have a copy. Oh, what's that stench? Anyhow, we have a copy of every one. Then what we did is we went through each one and we took every single ad from three candidates. Jack Taylor for sheriff, Larry Bennett for sheriff, and Johnny Searcy, all three candidates. We had someone, because I do not know, I do not know column inches on paper. I don't know that. We don't print anything here. I don't even know 100% how that works. So we had someone take, and that knows the newspaper industry, and we did the research on all of the ads and the sizes. Then we received a copy, we obtained a copy of the Fan and Focus's rate sheet. It's their rate sheet, has their name and everything, okay? And we had this person translate the number of ads, the sizes of the ads, to the rate sheet, and we did a spreadsheet showing you what these candidates should have spent at the Fan and Focus. Now, we have a story on our Facebook page, on our website, fetchernews.com, Fan and County. Ads in the Fan and Focus do not show up correctly for the sheriff candidates at campaign finance report, okay? According to Larry Bennett's report, all of the campaign finance reports are on here, folks. Everything I'm talking about, you will be able to find, okay? So according to Larry Bennett's now there are a lot of Larry Bennett ads in here. Interesting enough, according to what's in the Fan and Focus, he should have spent $1,142.78. According to his campaign finance report, you can't find the word Fan and Focus on there. According to that, he didn't spend $1. Jack Taylor, Republican candidate for sheriff. According to all the ads in here, remember all those back page ads? What do you think that cost? Back page of a whole entire back page. That's big money, folks. That's big money. So anyhow, according to Jack Taylor's, he should have spent $7,970.63. Guess what? He only showed $600, three $200 payments to the Fan and Focus. That left $7,370.63, according to the Fan and Focus's rate sheet. It's a whole lot of money. But then again, remember the Swan Drive-In? The owner, Steve Setzer, put up on the marquee, "Vote for Jack Taylor." There's a picture on our website. What's that cost? Well, when Jack Taylor did his form for his campaign finance, he put it down, and then he said Setzer refused to give him a price, no charge. Can't do that, folks. You got to tell us what all your advertising costs when you give it to a candidate. It has to have a value so they can keep up with campaign finance. Now that brings us to Johnny Searcy. Now, Police Chief, Blue Ridge Police Chief Johnny Searcy. He has run for sheriff several times, folks. Several times. He knows how to do his campaign finance reports, knows how to do them, okay? According to this paper, he should have had $4,946.89. Zero. The Fan and Focus doesn't even show up. Now, Searcy's campaign can do this. It's possible. So Searcy hired Kendall Goss as his campaign marketing manager. Now look, we're not questioning the legitimacy of that. Searcy showed on his campaign finance reports that he paid Goss $3,369. Now, she could have took some of that money and placed ads with the Fan and Focus, but, she was in charge of the website and other marketing materials. We don't know that. But we can't find it in here, and it would have been more than he paid Goss. But the interesting thing is, on his campaign finance report, Searcy does list the News Observer 3 times, and he lists WPPI-FM 1 time. So on the report, he lists the other media or newspaper outlets he spent money with, just missed the Fan and Focus. Now, whether it's the law or not, interesting enough, a publisher, let me tell you why this stinks, folks. You better pay attention to this, and you better get into your local, and you better dig them out. Get a committee, get your Tea Parties, get whoever, your Republican Party, get a group, go pull these campaign financials and start reviewing what they wrote in, because your local candidates, folks, your local candidates do not have to file on a computer. They can handwrite them. Let me tell you what happens, okay? They handwrite their reports. They go in. They look at the person. This is Marianne Connors in charge up there. It's not her place. She can't have time. It's not her place to validate they told the truth. All she has to do is make sure the reports are filled out, and then they sign them, and she signs and notarizes them, and they file them. But it's not her place to do the research. So that's all that happens. So they can just put anything on there if nobody is looking, folks, and that's your job out there to keep these candidates on the local level, because that's where you could have a serious problem. Clean up your counties, clean up your state, clean up the government, federal government. Now, the last thing is here, Searcy's done this. He had no problem extending all that, and he misses the fan in focus. So they don't have to, I'm not going to say they don't have to, but another thing, not one single ad says paid for by. Now, whether that's the rule or not, paid for by, okay? Paid for by, whether that's the rule or not, all right? We can't find any of the three candidates, Larry Bennett, or two candidates, and Larry Bennett and Johnny Searcy can't find paid for by. I will say Jack Taylor, make sure his ads say paid for by Jack Taylor. They say that. So is that all he paid, $600? But anyhow, we can't find that. So some questions surround, did Mark Thomason extend $13,460.30 of free advertising to candidates? Wonder what the candidates that paid for their advertising feel like. Why just the sheriff candidates? Why these three candidates, okay? Could they have been in cahoots, okay? Now, here's the point. You can do in kind. You can do in kind anything. If you have a good or service, you can provide a in kind. You can give it to them. You can give somebody an ad. You can give somebody a billboard. You can give somebody T-shirts. You can give somebody your time, putting in signs, whatever. You have to put a value. So even if Thomason gave all these candidates and supported all of these candidates, which sources says that he helped put out signs and take up signs for some of the candidates, even if Thomason did do this all in kind, he still violates campaign rules by the limit. What is the takeaway, folks? What is the takeaway? This is supposed to be your source of information. Here's the takeaway. Oh, you're just picking on the focus. Bull! Nobody's picking on anybody. You can't drive elections, folks. You can't do it. I could go in here and everybody that spent money with FetcherNews.com, you have to print out an invoice. So I wonder if the Election Finance Committee, the committee that's going to look at this, because they're going to, if they're going to produce all their invoices. Because let me tell you something, it's not Thomason's place to fill out their reports. But something stinks here, folks. And I'm not telling you wrap a fish in this paper. That's about what this paper is good for, to wrap fish in. But I'm telling you now, okay, right now, if he gets a letter, and he will, when he gets a letter from the campaign finance people, all they'll do is ask for his invoices to these people. And if he can't provide the invoices, and if he does, then these people are in trouble because there's invoices. Or where's the money? Whatever. Here's the takeaway before we close. We cannot have, in the United States of America, some things have to stop. We cannot have a publisher that is supposed to be giving you information trying to help manipulate elections if it happened. You can't do that. You can't do that. You can't have a publisher help try to manipulate elections if that happened. You can't. You are the citizen that they're supposed, freedom of the press, how about, you can't allow that, folks, because what if they are in cahoots, huh? Like back in the days when Aldrich owned the paper, and but he was part of creating the Federal Reserve, but the paper was he was part of creating the Federal Reserve, Aldrich was, and he owned the Free Beacon or whatever, and guess what? The paper highlighted what a great thing it would be to have this Federal Reserve, and they helped sell it for him that helped create it. Anyhow, that's a long story short. It's 8:30. I gotta move on here. You can't have that, folks. You can't have that. You can look at need to see the receipts on all the invoices. Subpoena that land journalists in jail, Mark Thomas and Russell Stuckey. That'll be at 3 o'clock today. I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office, North Georgia's only live online morning show. We want to thank all of our sponsors. If you'd like to be a sponsor, 706-889-9700. Days Chevrolet, located on 515 Jasper. That's Days Chevrolet. Circuit World, promotional code Fetch Your News. Shops of Sycamore Crossing, located in beautiful downtown Blue Ridge. L&L Beanery, downtown Blue Ridge Coffee Shop, free Wi-Fi, Salon 84, Hair and Color, West Church Street, Jasper. Make your appointment today. Clock Tower Gifts and Boutique, located in Jasper. I'm your host. We'll be back after these brief messages with Carla and see what's going on over at the chamber. Lonnie, take us to break.